Today we're going to be talking about a legend, Jeremy Fragrance, Mr. Fragrance himself. Not to be confused with our first release coming up, Mr. Fragrant. There's a letter difference there. Jeremy was an iconic fragrance reviewer who really blasted the scene into the mainstream, I think. He wasn't the first fragrance reviewer, but I think he was the first big one, and he's still the biggest in terms of subscriber count. Jeremy is a larger-than-life character, and I know he's controversial, and a lot of us might not like his current stuff.
Perry Alice 360 Red. I love it, man. It's the dildo of the fragrance industry. And yeah, it's not so funny actually. Still don't know how to talk about the topic of masturbating.
But a lot of us cannot deny that he got us and many others into the fragrance community in the first place. I will always thank Jeremy for that. I do appreciate his more normal content back in the day than I do his current stuff now. I wish he would go to the things that made him more reliable as a fragrance reviewer, his style, his charisma, reviewing new fragrances, not only mentioning the same ones over and over. Potentially success got to him too much and it changed him a bit, is what I think. I still love Jeremy, he's a legend, and he's still iconic, and he brought many of us into the community. So today I thought I would do a tribute video where I tell you guys about the 10 fragrances that I bought because of Jeremy Fragrance. These are fragrances that he frequently mentioned. I'll tell you kind of the stories and the experiences I had with them and the reasons why I bought them. Let's get into the list. Chanel's Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. I bought this because of Jeremy's most viral video. I think this is the one where he has compliment gods as the thumbnail, as his most complimented fragrance list. It's I think one of his most popular on his channel. He didn't like it that much himself, but he got loads of compliments. I bought this as one of my first work fragrances out of uni. And what I found is that I really like this, but nobody else complimented me on this fragrance. So I got very sad. But I can't deny Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme is a great signature for somebody who wants something unique. It's not your usual Sauvage fragrance, it's not blue DNA. It's got its own character, it's got a minty mandarin tonka bean twist. It's very smooth, creamy and sweet, but still fresh and sporty. Great balance, and I think it's a fragrance people still should check out. It's still timeless actually, still relevant today. Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. I bought this because Jeremy said in a video, a girl said to him when she smelled this on him,
I hate you because you smell so good.
And I tried this in the store, in the department store, because of him, and it's just extremely sweet. Sweet pear bubblegum. And I love this as a beginner actually. I really, really like this. It's just so sexy, edible, it's addictive to smell on your own skin. And nowadays I do think it's a bit too sweet, but it's a great clubbing fragrance still. I think that's what Jeremy always pointed it out as, and I kind of see it as that. It's just a fun nighttime loud fragrance in general. Not as loud as it used to be, but still does the job. Rasasi Hawas. I got this because in one of Jeremy's videos, he did a blind test of one of the girls in his videos. I think her name was Clara, where he showed her lots of different Middle Eastern fragrances, and this is the one that she easily loved. And I can see why. Because of that video, because she liked it so much, I then researched it on other reviewers' channels, and Hawas, yeah, just getting insane reviews. Big, loud, bubblegum, sexy, fun, fresh, aquatic. Apparently it's meant to be an Invictus Aqva 2016 clone. I don't think it is really. Maybe it has 50% similarities, but it's not really a clone of that fragrance. And when I got this, yeah, I really loved it. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting because I couldn't sample this before I bought it. It's quite synthetic, it's more synthetic than I expected, but if you like a very effective synthetic loud scent, then this will do the trick, and it's just a beast mode freshie that works really well. CH Men Prive. I always saw Jeremy in all his videos just kind of play around with this bottle, doing this flip thing constantly, and I was always intrigued because of that. I like the bottle design, but Jeremy always said it's a sexy, boozy, bad boy fragrance that doesn't last a long time. I actually get 6 hours with this. I think it's very good, and I always expected this to be more sweet than it is. CH Men Prive ended up being a lot more fresh. It was like a fresh whiskey fragrance, which I love the balance of it because of that. Unfortunately discontinued, but if it still existed, it would easily be a definitely high recommendation by me. I think it's a very sexy fragrance. Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Extreme. Jeremy said this is a very specific fragrance for a situation where you're in a wood cabin skiing in the Alps, so it's very specific. And yeah, it's not a versatile fragrance. It's your very intense, coldest weather fragrance possible. Extreme sweetness, extreme spice, vanilla, tobacco. I'm very glad I got the old bottle. Jeremy said it was beast mode, and I agree. The old formulation of Spicebomb Extreme was beast. 12 hours, loud projection. Now apparently it's a lot weaker and doesn't smell as good, which is a shame. But yeah, try it out in the stores if you still can. Prada L'Homme. Jeremy said this is your soapy, fresh and clean fragrance. You just want to smell nice, inoffensive in the office. And yeah, that's fair enough. I just wish Jeremy had always mentioned Dior Homme Eau in his videos. I actually tried that in stores just haphazardly and didn't know about it. And it smelled like a better version of this fragrance and it came out before it. I think Prada L'Homme is great. It's high quality, inoffensive, clean. I don't like it too much on a personal style basis. And I think it can smell overly feminine if you over apply, so be careful with that. I would personally want to get rid of this fragrance, but because it's so popular, I always keep it in my collection just because it's handy to have in reviews. Yeah, it's a good office fragrance, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a blind buy. I think it's an iris fragrance everyone needs to try first. Thierry Mugler's Pure Malt. I'm so sad this is discontinued. This was a great, fresh, boozy scent that was loud. It provided a great alternative to clubbing fragrances like Eros or Ultramal. I'm glad I still have this bottle. I will always cherish this. Bvlgari's Aqva Amara. This was my first ever blind buy fragrance. Jeremy described it as the strength of the ocean, and that is spot on. Metallic, intense, bitter, aquatic orange that lasts over 14 hours. This was back in the days before all summer fragrances reformulated. This actually had longevity. 14 hours for a summer fragrance is insane, and got me many compliments. I like wearing this all year round actually, even just as a work fragrance. It definitely has its own character. That's what I loved about it. I wish summer fragrances in the designer realm were still as creative as this, and it was dirt cheap as well back in the day. Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense. Classic, mentioned by Jeremy all the time. Great, long-lasting, loud summer fragrance, salty, oceanic, musky. And I always knew this DNA through family members wearing it. I didn't know what they were wearing at the time, but now, you know, after I smelled the intense flanker, I was instantly transported back. My family members probably wore the original. This came out in 2017, and you know, it is superior to the original in every way. It is a staple in anyone's collection. I think if you like this fragrance, you will love it. It's either you really love it or you're just okay about it. Like, this is one of those fragrances, if you really get into it, it stays in your collection for forever, essentially. Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme. This is like Jeremy's #1 most sexy fragrance in many of his lists for many years, and I felt that it was more personal to him than to other people. I felt like he had very good memories with it. And it's a fragrance that I think would have been legendary when it was not reformulated, when it was stronger. When I got this, I finally tried it after all the hype Jeremy gave it. I thought it fell a bit flat. It, of course, didn't last long at all. It lasted about 4 hours. I think it has a very sexy DNA. I can see why people love it. But for me, I think there are sexier DNAs out there. I do love Blue Electric. I'll give Jeremy that. But the original, I don't know. It just falls so flat nowadays. But yeah, I feel like this was in an era of when designer fragrances were more creative. Now, this kind of creativity, you'll find more niche fragrances, which is a shame. But yeah, it's still a classic. It's still worth trying at the very least. That concludes the video, guys. What are your thoughts on Jeremy? Which fragrances did you buy because of him? And do you still appreciate him for him getting you into the community if he did? If he didn't, which other reviewers got you into the fragrance community instead? Of course, I've also bought cheap fragrances that Jeremy recommended, like Nautica Voyage, Beast Mode, Aquatic Cucumber Summer Scent, and then Montblanc Individuel. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Make sure to check out our previous video on Jeremy fragrance, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.